Amazing. I see we are right away live today. And again, guys, super honored and always thankful to be back here on these streams with Ghosty. Spellborne Live with Ghosty. I'm starting to become a huge fan of this series ever since it has started. But I got to check in with the legend himself, Ghosty. What is going on, man? How are we doing today? Oh, no,
Good morning. Good
there he
morning.
is.
We're doing good. I'm just waiting for one of our developers to send out an update so we can do this week's change log,
Ooh.
which is like it's probably the biggest update this month. But yeah, a lot of things going on. We're just trying to meet our targets. Things that we have promised for this month. Almost done with everything that we have planned. So I'm super stoked about that, as well as a lot of extra things that we are planning for our community that I cannot share in advance, but I'm
Mm.
sure that the community will love it. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Ghosty just wrapped up another stream, doing back to backs today. But look, as you said, as the updates are rolling on, maybe we can just talk a little bit on are some of those updates, Ghosty. If you don't mind, just sharing a little bit already on what are we looking forward to here. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So primarily, the first thing that we're focusing on this month is opening up the game to the community in terms of building out different things around the game, as well as contributing to the game itself. And that includes building out tools. So we are opening up APIs regarding the game, APIs around the game, so you can actually build out tools and get access to the data that is present within the game. So get access to user data that is available based on that user's privacy, uh, protections, and guild data to build out tools for guilds, as well as monsters. So someone could build a better dex outside the game, and so on. Anything is possible with these APIs. So that's the first thing, that our open APIs should go live with this update, and players or developers should get a documentation. There's a new website that we have built for that. And the second thing that is a major update, it's the translations. So a lot of our community members are in different countries and different areas, and they might not be good at English. So we are adding support for AI translations, but also community based suggestions. So what we do is we're starting with three languages for now, but in future we'll be expanding to more. What we're doing is we're translating the whole game UI, all the monster information, all the item information, using AI, and then allowing community members to add suggestions or improvements over that data, and it will automatically include any future data that we add. So that's the second major thing. So these are the first two major things that are you know that we're focusing on in terms of like opening up the game to the community, allowing them to contribute more. So community members have already contributed towards monster assets and everything. Now they can contribute towards translations, they can build out tools. And this was a highly requested feature from a lot of guilds, as they have their own custom tools, but they were relying on users providing that data. So now they can directly get it from within the game. And then otherwise, this month has primarily been a lot of major backend updates. So with today's update, the game should go a lot faster. So players a lot of players were complaining about map to map transition. So when you move from one map to another, it usually takes about 3 to 4 seconds, on a bad day. And this has been reduced to 100 milliseconds. It's almost instant now. So the game will feel a lot faster after the update goes live. The game will have a lot of major other improvements, such as improvements for the storage system. So it's now in line with more like MMORPGs, where you can favorite items, you can search items, you can send or transfer custom amount of items from the storage to our inventory. We also added three new mutations this month. with one new enchanted monster being added very, very soon, plus one more monster being added to the wild. And in the past 2 weeks, a new PvP went live, new Stellar Pass went live, and the season one claim also ended, which ended with huge numbers. So to give some context, for season one, we had airdropped 4.5% of the supply, right? 4.5% of the total supply, and out of that, approximately 60% has either been spent or
Wow.
unclaimed. So
Wow.
60% of the tokens from the season one airdrop are going back to the game pool.
Wow.
So it's a lot of tokens. That's approximately, I think, 8 million tokens out of a total supply of 300 million. So you can imagine how much the players have been already spending in the game with the Wheel of Fortune. And there are a few things that we are ending this month, because we are transitioning towards, either better versions of those events, or that are in more line with the token itself, or just ending those events in general. So yeah, a lot of things going on with this update. And as I mentioned, it's probably one of the bigger updates that we've pushed this month. And yeah, we would love to discuss more.
Yeah, man. First of all, Ghosty, appreciate this. And again, I know this is still going to be rolled out here in the next couple weeks or so. But going back to a couple points, right? I just want to get more updates regarding the mobile release, right? How are we looking as far as Spellborn on mobile so far?
So there have been delays on iOS side. On Android side, the game is fully live for Android, and players can download the game on the Play Store. In terms of optimizations for mobile, so the current latest update, it will vastly change on how the game feels on mobile. Because on Android, the delays that I mentioned in terms of 4 seconds from changing from one map to another, that was present on Android. And based on our testing, that has been reduced to almost 200 milliseconds. So the game will feel much, much faster on mobile now, and much smoother, a better experience that players have always wanted.
Makes sense. And again, this is the type of stuff that I look forward to is being able to play Spellborn on the mobile side of things. And maybe just going back to the few other things you mentioned in your first take. First of all, yes, I like this comment. 60% is crazy. How do you think you made that happen, Ghosty? What do you think were the steps and process to kind of, unlock so much benefits for the players here regarding the 60%? Ghosty, let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so approximately more than, I would say, a lot of the, like, it's a 90% of the tokens that have been spent are for the Wheel of Fortune. Like, it's buying golden tickets for the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune had a lot of exciting rewards. It is also coming to an end, and it will be replaced with a better, more transparent version, which will have many, many more rewards. So it's just transitioning from one type of rewards to a whole new level of rewards, and will be much more addicting. But if, in terms of the player spend in the game right now, it was either being kind of the all the actions that were present for the token, they were mostly EV positive. So there were only two ways that you could spend the token till now: either create a guild or spend on the Wheel of Fortune. And there are, I think, 35 guilds that are present in the game. So approximately, I know, 40 50,000 tokens were spent on that. Rest of the tokens were spent on the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune either had anklets that are used for monster breeding, or it had the apartment NFTs that were unminted. And I think players have won approximately 50 to 55 apartments till now. I could be wrong, there could be more. But overall, that's mainly the reason. Like, to give some more context regarding these items, so as I mentioned, there were a lot of breeding items. And in the past 2 or 3 months, the number of monsters being bred has increased significantly. And give some more context, the current population of monsters in the game is around 1 million, but the number of monsters that have been either bred or freed back into the wild, it is around 2 million. So approximately out of 3 million monsters, 2 million have already been caught and then either bred or sent back into the game. And players are grinding hard, and they are, trying to make the perfect monsters. And in doing so, they're spending a lot on items. They're spending these one time use items. So anklets are only one time use. You every time you breed a monster, like breed two monsters, you end up spending two anklets, and that's about two spins on the wheel. So you can imagine how many spins on the wheel have happened. And a lot of players were just stacking items. A lot of players have been stacking the rewards from the wheel. So overall, very, very positive results till now. Very, very positive numbers from the Wheel of Fortune. And the next few events that we are introducing, they will significantly increase the player interaction as well as spend in the game, in terms of P2P trading going live, as well as a trading event going live, fishing going live. So all the skills will finally be live. So all these things we are targeting for this month. And that once these are live, all the events related to these features sets will finally go live, which will bring more eyes to the project, end up increasing the number of tokens that are being spent. So overall, till now, good numbers. And in terms of what's next, we're expecting much, much better numbers from here.
And to follow what you were just saying towards the tailor end of your take here is, are we going to see changes to the game mechanics, right, in these updates? Curious to know, Ghosty, on that side of things.
Um, Not changes, but a lot of, I would say, additional new features or features that are built on top of existing features. So, primarily, if we talk about what will be going live in the next few weeks, if I go through a list of features that are going to be listed in the changelog for today, fishing profession will go live, which introduces all the types of fishes, rare cosmetic fishes as well. And finally, players will have a way to kind of finally craft the cakes and everything, because the only way to get fishes till now was from trash bins. So fishing profession will finally go live, which means we can finally open up the whole skill tree and allow players to level up to 100 and complete the prestige system, which increases the number kind of chances of getting enchanted monsters in the wild. The second thing would be P2P trading. So player to player trading should go live this month. And in addition to that, monster mounts should go live, which is kind of a cosmetic feature for starter monster holders. So if you own a cayman, you can mutate to a sobek, which is basically a dragon, and you can fly around in the game. Then tournaments are currently being tested, so they should also be going live very, very soon. And tournaments are basically custom tournaments, so players can set an entry fee in terms of either the bond token or gold nuggets or any certain item or even skins, and limit them to their guild members or any sort of basically it's totally editable. It's very, very customizable, the tournaments feature. In addition to that, move items are also going to be live this month, which will kind of change the dynamics of PvP leagues a lot, because now finally players would be able to use items to teach specific moves to their monsters. They don't really have to rely on, the move trees of existing monsters. In addition to that, we are also working on a lot of bug fixes and improvements for guilds. So if we talk about what things are coming live this month, I would say it's not changing anything in the existing features, but adding on top of them. So either it's a new feature or it's a feature that adds on top of an existing feature, taking the battle system and adding, creating the tournament system from there, or taking the existing follower monster followers and converting it to monster mounts, essentially more kind of more attractive cosmetic utility for monsters in the game. So a lot of things are coming. And for us, this month our target was to finish up the skills tree system, so we can finally focus on the trading part of things, as well as have p2p trading live, at least, if not marketplaces as well, although the marketplaces are also ready. And in terms of what else is coming this month, so changes to the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune event will end this week. It's kind of an abrupt end because we want to quickly change it to a better event, and a new event will be replacing the Wheel of Fortune, where players who do not have tokens will also be able to participate, but it will introduce new starter monsters as well. So it can kind of acts as a monster mint, it kind of acts as an apartment mint, it kind of acts as an event where you can get other rarer items that weren't available in the Wheel of Fortune. And these items will be switched on a daily basis, so every day you have a chance of winning something new. So the event will be much more refreshing compared to the Wheel of Fortune. It will be much more transparent compared to the Wheel of Fortune. You'll be able to see what are your chances of getting an apartment or a monster from that spin. And yeah, so overall it's all about making the game more transparent and adding more addictive gameplay that our players love and have loved till now.
Yeah. Ghosty, I'm curious on how you approach like the feedback from your players, right? Let's say that, an idea comes from the community that they want to see this type of gameplay or this type of game genre, whatever it may be. How do you kind of take that in, and do you always apply what you hear from your community?
Not always, but we try to do as much as possible. So for example, monster mounts is something that we never planned. This is something that was a request from the community, because they mentioned that they wanted the starter monsters to be a bit more different from the monsters that you capture in the wild. And converting them to monster mounts was kind of a difficult task, but it's something that makes them more interesting, which in turn allows us to kind of uh, create more utility for future starter mints. So it's not always a perfect result, but sometimes the suggestions from the community all opens up more paths, more roadways for us, where we can kind of implement more rewards, different kinds of rewards, and kind of give more content to the community based on what could not have been possible before, based on the designs that we originally had. And in addition to that, since you mentioned taking ideas from the community, we already did with the soul exchange event that is currently running. But in future we will be opening up to quest designs. So the community members would be able to submit designs for quests, not write the dialogue, but submit the structure of the quests, what happens and what is going to happen here and there. And these are not story quests, these are like side quests. So for example, when you play Red Dead Redemption 2, you can encounter a random npc that gives you a random quest where it's just a random storyline that isn't affecting your main storyline, but it is still interesting and fun to interact with. So those kind of quests will be added based on community suggestions. And currently we're just finishing up the structure related to that. Once that is finished, we'll announce it and allow community to submit suggestions. And since adding quests for us is much easier, like it usually takes about 3 to 4 hours maximum to create a new quest, in unless we have to create new assets, it will be very easy for us to add new content based on community suggestions. So our next goal after the marketplaces and everything has gone live, is to make Spellborne content rich. So this includes introduction of new maps, this includes allowing community to add more content, because from our side we are working on the main storyline, we are focusing on the main storyline quests, which move forward towards newer maps, newer monsters, newer characters. But the current set of the map that is currently present in the past, that has still has a lot of potential. and in not in terms of just storyline expansion, but in terms of regular interactions that that make the player come back to it again and again. So these kind of quests will serve that purpose, allowing community to participate in the game, but also allowing players to go back to older maps and interact with NPCs, because once they realize that they can get new quests by talking to any NPC, they'll try to interact with everything. They'll try to get engaged in the world of Spellborne more and more, and they'll learn more about the different personalities of different NPCs.
Man, I love this, man. And again, I think contribution from the community definitely has its input. And Ghosty, just to kind of pivot from everything we've been discussing so far, what would you say has been the most successful aspect to Spellborn, right? Is it the social environment that you've created for your players to interact with guilds, or does it come down to the simplicity of the gameplay loop itself? Ghosty, curious to know your thoughts on this.
I think it's the simplicity as well as the community interaction. Like, when you are building out a game, you do not expect so much support from the community. When I talk about the Heroes program, it's every single day they're suggesting some new thing. It's either related to the game economy, or it's related to game features, or quest ideas or event ideas. It's always something new. So you don't really expect this from players who are just playing for either for fun, or playing to earn money in the game or whatever. But you don't really expect it from someone who is not directly has been able to influence the game till now, but they want to get more involved in the game just because they like the game so much. So that's the second thing. But the first thing is just the simplicity. The game isn't too complex. Like, if you look at Spellborn and you look at one or two screenshots, you understand that it's a monster collector game. And once you get into it, you slowly can complete out the quests, and then you realize that it's an open world monster collector game. So now you interact with NPCs, you have your own decision making. So it's also kind of the first core pillar of our game design. So when we started building out Spellborne, the first thing that we wanted to do was build a simplistic game, but not simple. So it's simplistic in the sense that it feels easy to learn, but it shouldn't be something that someone is easily able to learn within 5 minutes, right? So you can think of the battle system as rock paper scissors, but it's not really rock paper scissors. When in reality, it's multiple variables interacting together to kind of create strategies where you can win or lose different matches based on just one or two actions. So overall, that has been the main goal, and I think we have been able to successfully implement that. Our next goals are just to make Spellbound content rich. Our next goals are to open up the game economy, and finally let players who haven't been able to see what this good game is interact with it on a regular basis, rather than just complete the game within a single day. So once we open up these feature sets of allowing players to contribute towards quest lines, players should be able to expect more content updates on a regular basis. And this content includes quests, this includes new monsters, and the maps as well. So overall, once we are finished with the infrastructure, next is just going to be a lot of content, in all regards, in terms of map expansions, new monsters, new characters, finishing up the main storyline, working on quest ideas from the community, and actually implementing something that the community has suggested. So overall, I think I do love the part where our community is so eager to contribute to the game. They're always drawing new things. I still constantly receive monster designs that are really cool, and I still constantly receive quest design ideas from the community, and we are not actively looking for them. They're just coming to us. So because they love the game, they want to contribute to it, they want to help us build it better. And I just love this fact, and I think we're very, very lucky to have this community.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And we have a very active chat today. I will say that as well. Shout out to everyone here that's, sharing comments, sharing questions. Um, we have a question from the chat, Ghosty, on tokenomics. Will we see tokenomics this month?
A few hints regarding that, yes, but full tokenomics should go live in the first or second week of next month, as we are finally converging towards open economy. So, as I mentioned, P2P goes live this month. Marketplaces plus the token, are targeted for next month. So, tokenomics should go live approximately 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before the token actually goes live.
There you go. And that was insane who asked that question. Um, and look, I want to piggyback a lot of what Toonie here is sharing. First of all, I like this comment as well. We need a ghosty NPC in game that brings us to a new map called Ghost Town with spooky mons. I don't know if that's a feedback you would consider ghosty. But something he also mentions is trading, right? And I'm curious myself on the trading aspect. Will we be will man, I can't even speak. Will we see various different types of marketplaces amongst players where they can trade skins, maybe trade monsters? Just curious to know like the verticals when it comes to the marketplaces and trading side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, item trading, tool trading, and skin trading will be primarily the first marketplaces that will go live. Players will be able to also trade these in terms of P2P. Monsters require minting. So the different infrastructure that we are building is players can trade items off chain within the game itself. They can still mint them and trade them outside the game. But for monsters, they'll have to mint them and then trade them within the game itself. Uh, in addition to this, we will also be adding apartment furniture items that will become tradable in these marketplaces, as we will be kind of adding utility based furniture items within the apartments. So overall, these are the different kinds of marketplaces that will be available within the game. There will also be different events that will incentivize players to trade, within the marketplaces as well as between each other. And yeah, basically our goal is to make the players interact with each other rather than having to kind of grind towards a certain item. So for example, if I am catching monsters and all of a sudden I'm out of crystals, I don't really have to just wait and grind out all the raw materials. If I have enough gold nuggets, or if I have enough any type of certain item that someone else wants, I can just trade it with them. So that's the interaction we want. We want the players to interact with each other more and more and more. We want them to use the chat box. We want them to use all the interactions that are available in the game as well as outside the game. And I think trading will go much further rather than just being item to item trading between different players. And it has a lot of potential. It has a lot of potential in terms of incentives. It has a lot of potential in terms of building out a cohesive community.
And Ghosty, this is I guess this is like the flywheel question that I was asking about earlier is, is the impact, right? The value of Spellborne. It's not that it's only a fun game, but it's this idea of the social aspect of being able to play with your friends. You mentioned guilds all the time here, and I feel this kind of adds up to the formula of what makes a fun game in Web3 nowadays. And I know the title of today's stream was when does Web3 gaming explode, or when will Web3 gaming explode? And then I feel it's kind of tailored along those lines. And I'm curious, Ghosty, do you see maybe the growth of Web3 kind of being, I'm sorry, let me rephrase this, the growth of Web3 gaming kind of being reliant and dependent on the social aspect and how marketing these games kind of come around? Curious to know your thoughts on that, Ghosty.
100%, 100%. So social aspect of web3 games is kind of a major component when it comes to how players interact in the game itself. For example, when we look at why we decided to go with the mounts based on community suggestions, it's because the three monsters that are going to be available as mounts, it may, you know, them being as mounts is kind of a major step ahead compared to all the monsters that are available in the game right now. Because now not only are there, they can they act as followers, but they are visibly different. This is something that you can show off to your friends, the show off factor, in terms of social interactions. So I would say Web3 games are rely a lot on the social as well as the monetary aspects. And if a game can kind of do well in both these areas, they can easily explode. And for us, it's this is the next target. So we want the social aspect to be available as well as the financial aspect to be available together, and the marketplaces, trading, as well as cosmetic features such as monster mounts or tradable furniture items will play a major role in this.
Man, I love this, man. And I think this is exactly why I believe the social aspect in Web3 gaming is what's going to make it explode. Um, and Ghosty, just to kind of again bounce off from what you're sharing here, um, do you feel that what's missing in this space is still kind of like a lack of genuine, honest gamers? And I feel that we're still kind of stuck with like an audience of creators and not enough like gaming strictly creators. I'm kind of curious on how you feel about the creator economy affecting Web3 gaming right now.
Yeah, it's actually very true. So when you look at all the creators that are currently present in the Web3 space, or Web3 gaming space to be specific, a lot of them are just thread creators. They're not really playing the games. Like they will create threads about talking about a game, and that's it. But if you look at their account, they never really have played that game. So it's very different. And I think it goes back to the idea that a lot of people think that there aren't many players in Web3. There are not, and that is actually true. But when you look at content creators in Web2, or specifically gaming content creators, they don't really care about their where their audience is coming from. They are there to entertain. They are there to create content that is around the game, because any good creator can take a dead boring game and turn it around. It's just dependent upon their talent. So the creator economy side of things, if there ends up being a good creator who kind of is able to reach out outside of web 3, the web 3 bubble that is currently present, because almost every single game is fighting for that attention. And these players do not have any big attention spans. So overall, I would say creators do play a major role, and they will continue to play a major role. But in future, they might even play a bigger role if any of those creators are able to reach to web2 audiences based on how creative they are, or how talented they are. Because it's all about the different variables that are interacting right now. Either games could, for example, off the grid reaching out to all the web 2 players. Either games can do that, for us, reaching out to all the poke mmo players that we have done till now, or we'll continue doing so, or working with web2 content creators that have those audiences already, or we work with web3 content creators who are trying to reach those audiences, but they'll only create threads. So as a game developer, I'll still prefer to interact with content creators who will actually play the game, because for our game, the aesthetics, the nostalgia, that's the main selling point, right? It's not just the web3 aspects, it's the gameplay itself. So
Mm.
overall, I would say for a lot of content creators to do well, they should start playing more games. If you're a gaming content creators, make sure that the gaming part out of that content creator sentence is in bold rather than being the same font.
And again, this is kind of where the fine line kind of gets established, right? And Ghosty, speaking of marketing, right? How do you see a strategy with curating an organic, I guess, feel to promoting Spellborne without having to go through the traditional route of like paying creators, using agencies, etc. I'm kind of curious in your perspective on organic marketing and how you plan to use it for Spellborne.
I mean, we haven't worked with any agencies till now. We haven't really paid any creators till today. All of our marketing has been organic, either word of mouth from our players or word of mouth from different content creators that have tried out the game on their own. So any feedback that you see regarding the game publicly, it's honest feedback. They're not incentivized to say good things about the project. And in terms of going from a route that is different from the regular route of paying creators or working with agencies, when you are working with agencies, you're working for a short period of time, right? You're working for example, you have a contract for 2 months. What happens after those 2 months? It's either the content creator will continue playing your game if they have interest in their free time. They'll still not, there's a very high chance that they'll stop streaming it. So all of a sudden there's a huge downfall, and that can directly affect your player morale as well, because now all of a sudden they see that all the content creators stopped playing the game. They'll think that the game has gotten boring, but the game hasn't changed. It's just that you stopped working with the agency. So overall, it's all about creating a consistent uh, feel or consistent point of interaction that you have with either content creators or with players, or any sort of interested parties. And for us, it has been important, and that's why we have been always adding new sort of complementary features to our content creators program. So for example, till now it has been a custom skin, it has been a creator code that gives you like 5% of all the purchases made using your code. But in future we are also adding lifetime subscription to our stellar pass, as well as support for subsidized a guild skin if the creator runs a guild. So those kind of things, as well as access to all the content creator programs, as well as special training for those content creators. So overall, I will say that with three content creators have a long way to go. They have a lot of work to do, and for games as well, they need to learn how to adapt to these market conditions, because as a web3 game, for us it is very very challenging to interact into kind of almost change our marketing style based on the market mood. And it has been kind of filled with ups and downs. So when you're not working with any agency, your at least in terms of web3 interaction, it depends upon the market conditions a lot. But if you're working with either web2 creators, they don't really care about market conditions. So that's the next step for us in terms of what is next in terms of content creation. So more incentives for content creators that are regularly creating content, so streaming the game, creating threads around the game that focus on gameplay, or creating videos on YouTube, all that sorts of things. Those creators will be highly incentivized, even including streams on our pages, or special streams on Discord where we invite all the community members to watch. So those kind of things, those incentives, as well as specially working with web2 content creators that have audiences in this area. So content creators that have created content either related to pokemmo or any Pokemon fan-made games, or pokeroke, because they have huge audiences, and those audiences are prime targets. So now we're finally at a stage where we can do reach outs to them and work with them, and kind of run our creator program campaigns from there.
Man, you just honestly gave a really good explanation of how and or not how, what is wrong and what is good about working with agencies. Look, I personally believe in the organic flywheel. I think I'll always believe that as a creator, that if you're able to align with your fans, people that really want, or not even want, they enjoy playing the game, right? You can align with these guys kind of become your natural born brand ambassadors. And I know that's something that Web3 also pays a huge fee for as well. So yeah, really, really well said. And I appreciate your takes here, Ghosty. But look, with the last, what is this, 15-ish or so minutes remaining on today's discussion, I do just want to make sure we allocate time for, again, making sure we're capturing a lot of the questions here that's left in the chat. But one thing that I missed here in the chat was earlier in today's stream was, are there any plans for new map additions soon? Ghosty, anything on that end?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, our next focus is content, content, content. Uh, the goal is to make Spellborne a content rich game, even if the maps are not very, very expansive. Like the maps compared to most games are not that big. The amount of interactions that are possible based on decision making and all the challenges that are present in the game, we would be able to create a lot of content. So in terms of map expansions, we do already have 3 maps ready. So you can expect like new maps very, very soon. Sorry, not three, 5 maps ready. And these 5 maps are either underground, or I think 2 of them are locations, 2 of them are routes, one of them is kind of mixed between both. So overall, players can expect these map expansions. Our primary goal, in the past 1 or 2 months, has been just focusing on feature releases, finishing up our features, finishing up, adding up hordes, player to player trading, and all sorts of different things, so that we can create more creative quests in these future map expansions that we do. Because every time we add a new map, we have to add a ton of quests that kind of introduce that location but also move the story forward. So overall, players can expect new map additions very, very soon. Players can expect new quests very, very soon. Players can expect their ideas to be incorporated into the game in terms of new side quests very, very soon. So any community members who want to contribute, create quests for the game, they can start working on their suggestions. And once they have any working idea, they can discuss with the community any possible ideas that are loved by the community. We will definitely add to the game. So new quests, new characters, new monsters, and of course new maps, all the things. A lot of content has been worked on in advance. So we do have a lot of things planned for the at least for the next 4 to 5 months in terms of content.
Man, this is very, very powerful. And again, content is king. That's something that I personally say all the time. And yes, OD portal to another dimension. That would be next level. I love that. Go see, going back here, just again on everything that we discussed so far. Um, is there personally something that you feel is missing in the overall Web3 gaming space? Right? Could be something traditional, could be something far fetched, anything that kind of comes to your mind when you think about that.
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah, just curious on what do you think is like missing? What is a missing ingredient to make Web3 gaming explode across the board, not just for Spellborne but across the board? Curious to know your thoughts on that.
Across the board, I think for a lot of games, so to be frank, a lot of the products that you see in Web3, they are good products, but not by the standards of their valuations, but the products itself. Like there's almost a Web3 version of Minecraft. A lot of people don't realize how difficult that is in terms of building and development. So it is a good product. The problem is that it is valued at, I don't know, 20-30 million, which it should not be. So I would say for a lot of projects, a lot of games, what they're missing is the touch to the ground. And for example, if I look at a Web3 Minecraft version, or if I look at a Web3 monster collector or a shooter, I want to look at what existing markets are present in Web2 as well related to that. as well as for a lot of projects. So, for example, for us as well, you look at it as a monster collector, but what are we doing different? Either open economies, that is the different part, or sub economies with different guild tokens being present, all the different ideas. So, a lot of games are just one-to-one copycats in Web3. I think a lot of them are missing is an interesting idea that makes them stand apart. So, for example, with OTG, it was the tools or kind of the equipments that would fall off, or you could switch those equipments, you could switch your legs and everything. That made a lot for a lot of fun interactions and a lot of clippable moments. So those kind of things make games stand apart. And I think, for example, for Spellborne, it will be the decision making that is available in the game, where players would kind of make these decisions in the main storylines or the side quests that are designed by the community members. And that's the major ingredient that is missing from a lot of these with three games. Like, they are doing well in terms of community, they are doing well in terms of the tokens or the economy systems, but what they're not doing well is actually reaching out to players that are not already involved in with them. So, for example, if a Web3 game that is focusing on regions, I can guarantee that they will have approximately at the highest point 4 to 5,000 players. That's it. They won't really cross that limit because that's the amount of regions that are actively playing any sort of these games. So overall, they need to have these sort of different things that are not only related to the economy but also to the gameplay itself. That makes them stand out. That makes them, kind of become clippable, shareable moments that help them reach Web2 users so that they can reach the masses.
Is exactly what I want to see here. And again, I'm slowly itching my way over here towards what's next here on the at least the next chapter of Spellborn. But again, man, Ghosty, appreciate obviously the past hour here as always. Before I get into the last segment here with you, is there anything particularly on your mind that you wanted to share regarding Spellborn as we head towards the last 10 minutes of today's stream? Ghosty, go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of existing events, existing bundles that are on sale will come to an end this month or early next month. So please keep an eye out on the changelog that will go live either in a few minutes or maybe midnight if I'm not able to get that PR from the developer. But anyway, uh, next few weeks a lot of events will be ending, so make sure that you get everything that you want from these events. Like, if it's soul exchange, make sure that you get all the monsters so that you don't have to complain later on that you didn't capture enough monsters for that event. And so that's the first major thing. A lot of these events are ending, a lot of these bundles are ending because we are replacing them with either better versions of events or just straight away removing them as they do not fit the next version of the game economy. The second thing is, a lot of our major features are finally getting completed, so they are going into testing. So players can expect a lot of new events that are focusing on these new features. A fishing event, a trading event, a new shiny hunting event as well. And players can expect these to go live towards end of this month and early next month. So a lot of new content, a lot of new events, and in terms of what they can do, they can contribute towards translations. So if you are a native speaker of any language that is not English, feel free to contribute towards the translations of the game. We can give you access, and you should be able to translate anything and everything, as well as if you are building out tools related to the game, be it a mobile app or any sort of different things, the APIs should go live either today, tomorrow. And in terms of players who or artists who want to contribute towards art, you can continue sending out monster designs. We will be incorporating them as they come. In terms of character skins, we are kind of setting up teams where any existing projects that want to get integrated, we will be directly connecting them towards community artists instead of taking on that art on our own. So this way, we are also allowing community artists to work with other projects that want to get integrated into the game, because there are a lot of projects. Right now, I think we have two projects which want a full trade based integration, and I think three or four projects that want a single sprite integration. So a lot of connections, and a lot of things changing this month, or towards the end of this month. So make sure to read the change log carefully. Make sure to keep all the deadlines in mind. We do not want to, and we will not be changing any sort of deadlines later on. And please, I will repeat again, make sure to read the next change log carefully, this change log and the next week ones, because these two are very, very big updates. They contain either major feature releases or deadline announcements for multiple things, not only events but also bundles. So yeah, these are the few things that players should keep in mind. And yeah, overall, this should be an exciting month, and we're just preparing everything for open economy, and I'm super super stoked that we're finally reaching there.
Woo, man, long time coming indeed, man. Ghosty, appreciate everything you've shared in the past hour. And again, guys, I encourage you, if you haven't already, get in the community, try out Spellborne, play Spellborne, get involved with the guilds. A lot of things coming up here, like we just heard. Um, Ghosty, I know we just spilled the alpha, but anything as far as like a message you just want to share with your audience, with the community that's watching today's stream, anything you just want to leave them with?
Yeah, just continue supporting the project as you have already. We really, really do appreciate your support. Any sort of content creators that have been participating till now, if you have been creating content around the game already, please make sure to open a support ticket. We will, as I mentioned, we will be providing infinite supply of stellar pass for your main account, as well as allow you to give stellar passes to more community members in future giveaways based on your contributions, either being an active content creator on Twitter or Twitch or YouTube. And yeah, overall, we want to support our community in the best way possible, be it content creators, be it artists, be it developers, be it our regular players. So there's something for everyone this month at least. And in future, it will be all about content, and open economy. So yeah, super super exciting stuff coming in. And I'm super stoked about all the things that we're working on right now, and a few things that I cannot share. Specifically, I'm very, very excited about mounts because they look really, really cool.
Man, I can't wait, man. There's gonna be so many more updates coming out of the brand account here. I'm personally really, really excited. But Ghosty, as always, thank you again for the past hour. Guys, if you haven't already, show some love to Ghosty. Follow his account, follow Spellborn, and of course, tune into more of these streams in the coming weeks. I look forward to the next one. Ghosty, we can wrap things up, man. Appreciate everyone here that showed up today. And guys, we will see you at the next stream. Have a good one. Cheers and peace out.